What if I told you that the reason doors have stayed shut in your life, the opportunities you've been waiting for, the breakthroughs you've been longing for, the blessings you've been praying for are not closed because you're unqualified, not closed because you're unlucky, and not closed because someone else has taken your place, but because there is a spiritual principle you have not yet activated? What if I told you that there are words, 3 simple declarations, that when spoken with faith, carry the authority to unlock doors that no man can shut, to break chains that no circumstance can hold, and to release you into a future bigger than what you've imagined? Christ. And what if I told you that these words don't just work someday? They can begin to shift your reality today, in this very moment. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to use this divine key, how to align your heart, mind, and spirit, and how to watch doors swing wide open before you. But before we begin, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and tell me in the comments what door you are believing to open. Christ. Because today could be the day the lock breaks and your breakthrough begins. The power of repetition in faith. When we look at the mystery of how faith operates, repetition is not a mere habit of the mouth. It is the anchoring of the soul into the unseen. Many people assume that repeating words 3 times is a superstition or ritual. In the language of the Spirit, repetition is a form of alignment. To say something once is to introduce it to your consciousness. To say it twice is to establish it in your spirit. To say it 3 times is to seal it with authority, stamping it as unshakable truth within you. Repetition does not move God. Repetition moves you into the position where you can receive what has already been promised. In the scriptures, the number 3 is not random. It is several divine completeness, a pattern stamped across the heavens and earth. There is the Father, the Son, and the Spirit, 3, yet 1. Jesus rose on the 3rd day, signifying the fullness of redemption. Trust the prophet was called 3 times before he recognized the voice of God. Even Paul prayed 3 times for the thorn in his flesh before he received his revelation of grace. When something is spoken 3 times, it is no longer a whisper. It is established as law in the spiritual realm. Heaven hears it, earth echoes it, and your spirit carries it like a burning seal. The act of saying something 3 times is not mechanical. It is not a formula that manipulates results. It is an act of faith that digs roots deeper into the soil of belief. Imagine a seed planted in the ground. If it is watered once, the soil becomes moist. If it is watered twice, the seed begins to swell and prepare itself for growth. But when it is watered consistently, the seed finally breaks open and life springs forth. Saying words of faith 3 times functions in the same way. The first time you declare it, you are planting. The second time, you are watering. The third time, you are watching the breakthrough sprout forth into visibility. There is also a spiritual resistance that repetition dismantles. Often when you speak a word of faith, doubt rises immediately to choke it. You say, doors will open for me. And another voice inside whispers, but remember your failures. You declare, provision is mine, and circumstances mock you with unpaid bills. Repetition is not just for faith, it is for silencing the contradictions. When you say a thing 3 times, Christ, you are not wrestling with God, you are wrestling with unbelief until it surrenders. Each repetition weakens the hold of fear, doubt, and memory of past disappointments until your declaration stands tall and unchallenged within you. Psychologists understand a piece of this truth, teaching that repeated affirmations shape the subconscious mind. Christ. But faith goes beyond psychology. Faith recognizes that words are not just sounds, they are spiritual forces. When you declare something in faith 3 times, you are not simply programming your brain, you are releasing decrees into the atmosphere. Angels respond to it. Spiritual resistance bows to it. Doors hear it. Because doors are not just wood and steel. They are spiritual symbols of opportunity, access, and transition. Words spoken with conviction are the keys that tell those doors open. Consider the example of the walls of Jericho. They did not fall on the first day. They did not fall on the second day. But as the people marched repetitively, Christ, aligning action with the command of God, the walls eventually collapsed. Repetition built momentum in the invisible realm until the visible had to obey. In the same way, Christ, when you repeat your faith-filled words 3 times, you are marching around the walls of your limitation, striking against them until they cannot stand. It is not the volume of your voice, but the persistence of your faith that topples what once seemed immovable. Repetition also carries within it the power of agreement. When you declare something once, you agree with your mind. When you declare it again, you agree with your heart. When you declare it the third time, your spirit comes into full agreement, and there is nothing stronger than a person whose entire being is united in faith. Division inside of you creates delay outside of you. Agreement within you creates manifestation outside of you. The power of saying something 3 times is not in the sound. It is in the harmony of your being with the word you speak. This is why you must guard what you choose to repeat. If you repeat fear 3 times, fear will dominate you. If you repeat failure 3 times, failure will haunt you, Christ. But if you repeat words of life, faith and power, they will govern your steps and open your doors. Your life today is the fruit of yesterday's repetitions. What you allow your mouth to say and your heart to echo is shaping the doors that open before you. To say something 3 times with faith is not a small act. It is to place a key in your hand and hear the locks turn as you speak. Words as keys that unlock doors. Every door in life responds to the language of words. A door is not only a physical barrier, it is a symbol of opportunity, of access, of transition from one stage of life to another. Many people knock on doors with effort, strategy, and human wisdom, and yet the door remains firmly closed. Others approach with influence, connections, and resources, and still the door does not yield. But when words, Christ, spoken in faith and authority, are released into the atmosphere, doors that seemed sealed suddenly begin to shift. Because words are not just sounds carried on air. They are keys that have the power to unlock unseen realms and grant entry into places that effort alone cannot reach. Christ, from the beginning, creation itself was framed by words. The universe was not built by bricks, but by the voice that declared, "Let there be." That declaration was not a suggestion. It was a key that unlocked light out of darkness, form out of chaos, and order out of emptiness. If creation itself is subject to the authority of words, then how much more the doors of your destiny, the doors of opportunity, healing, provision, and restoration do not respond to pleading. They respond to the command of faith-filled words spoken with conviction. Christ, there is a mystery in understanding that doors are intelligent in the spiritual sense. A door symbolizes an appointed passage. Behind every door is something meant for you, but not every door opens automatically. Just as a locked door in the physical world requires a key, the locked doors in your life require the proper key to open. Words, Christ, when aligned with faith and truth, are the key. When you speak, you are not just uttering syllables. You are fitting the grooves of a spiritual key into the lock of your circumstances. The right words spoken with the right heart turn the lock, and suddenly the door swings wide. Many people fail because they use their words carelessly. They complain about the doors that are closed. They murmur about how nothing works for them. They declare that opportunities are always far away. What they do not realize is that these words are also keys, but instead of unlocking, they are locking. Instead of turning the key toward access, they are turning it toward restriction. Every word you speak is either opening or closing something in your life. This is why the wise guard their tongue, for they understand that life and death are in the power of the words they release. Think of Peter standing before the lame man at the temple gate. Silver and gold he did not have, but he possessed something far greater, the authority of words. When he said, "Rise and walk," those words functioned as a key. They unlocked healing. They unlocked mobility. They unlocked a future that had been shut down by paralysis. The man's legs responded not to pity, but to command. In the same way, your circumstances are waiting not for your sorrow, but for your voice. Doors are not moved by tears, they are moved by keys. Even in human relationships and daily life, words serve as keys. A single word of kindness can open the door of trust. A word of wisdom can open the door of opportunity. A word of courage can open the door of destiny, Christ. And in the same way, careless words can slam doors shut, creating barriers where there should have been pathways. This is why words must be chosen with reverence. They are not empty, Christ. They are containers of power. They are keys that either advance you or hold you back. It is also important to recognize that not every door is meant for you. Sometimes a locked door is protection, not denial. But when you stand before a door that has your name written on it in the Spirit, you will know it by the stirring within you. That is the door you must unlock with your words. That is where you declare 3 times with authority that the door must open. And as you speak, the hinges begin to tremble. The locks begin to shift, and what was once immovable suddenly swings wide to reveal what was prepared for you all along. The imagery of keys is woven throughout divine wisdom because keys symbolize authority. Without a key, even if you stand at the right door, you remain an outsider. But with the key, Christ, you move from standing outside to stepping inside. Words carry that authority. You may have been positioned before the right opportunity, the right relationship, or the right breakthrough. But until you use the right words, you remain locked out. The moment your voice is aligned with faith, however you transition from waiting to entering. This is why repetition, as seen in the first keynote, and the right words, as explored now, work together. To say something 3 times is to press the key firmly into the lock, ensuring that it turns. The combination of persistence and precision is what guarantees the opening. Words chosen without faith are like keys cut poorly. They do not fit. Words spoken without persistence are like keys not turned. They remain useless. But words of faith, spoken repeatedly with conviction, always find their lock and open their door. Faith-filled declarations break barriers. Barriers exist in every journey. Some are visible: financial struggles, health issues, closed opportunities, and strained relationships. Others are invisible: fear, doubt, shame, and the silent resistance of the spiritual world. Many try to push through these barriers with human strength, relying on logic, strategies, Christ, and relentless effort. But what human effort cannot break, faith-filled declarations can. Declarations are not empty affirmations. They are words infused with conviction. Words born from a place of trust in the unseen. When spoken with faith, they function as hammers that strike against the barriers until they collapse. Christ, faith-filled declarations are not simply positive statements. They are not about wishful thinking or optimism. They are rooted in authority and alignment with divine truth. To declare something in faith is to speak as though the outcome is already decided, even when the present circumstances contradict it. It is to stand before a closed door and say, "This must open." It is to face a mountain and declare, "You must move." It is to confront a wall and proclaim. You cannot stand when these words are spoken with unwavering faith. They travel beyond the realm of sound and become commands in the spiritual dimension. Imagine a hammer striking a stone wall. The first strike makes little impact, yet the wall shudders slightly. The second strike deepens the crack, though the wall still stands. The third strike and the fourth and the fifth each seem small in isolation, but together they weaken the resistance until finally the wall crumbles. This is the nature of faith-filled declarations. The first time you speak, the barrier trembles. The second time you speak, the resistance weakens. The third time, the cracks begin to appear. And as you continue, the barrier no longer has the strength to resist. Barriers are often guarded by fear. Fear whispers that nothing will change. Christ, that the words you speak are powerless. Doubt quickly joins in, reminding you of past failures, pointing to the evidence that seems unshakable. These voices are part of the barrier itself. They are designed to discourage you from continuing, to make you believe that silence is safer than persistence. But silence empowers the barrier. Every time you declare with faith, you are striking against fear and dismantling its grip. Every word of faith weakens the voice of doubt until it can no longer echo in your mind. Declarations can confront not only external barriers, but internal ones as well. The hardest walls to break are not always outside of us, but within. Barriers of low self-worth, guilt, and mental patterns built over years can seem stronger than any physical obstacle. Yet these internal barriers are the very ones faith-filled declarations are designed to shatter. When you declare, "Christ, I am chosen, I am equipped, I will overcome," you are striking directly at the walls of insecurity and limitation inside of you. Over time, the cracks widen. The wall weakens and freedom flows into the places once bound by lies. In spiritual reality, barriers are not static. They are sustained by unseen agreements. Christ, by words of defeat spoken in the past, by fears that were never challenged, by environments that reinforce limitations. When a person rises and begins to speak words of faith, those sustaining agreements are broken. The barrier loses its foundation, and what once seemed impenetrable suddenly collapses. This is why declarations are not optional. They are necessary. They replace old agreements with new ones, agreements of victory, of freedom, of open doors. Faith-filled declarations also carry momentum. Each word spoken in faith adds weight to the unseen scale. You may not notice immediate results after 1 or 2 declarations, but something is shifting. Like the steady dripping of water carving through stone, persistence in faith ensures that even the hardest barrier will give way. It is not about the volume of the words. Christ, nor the length of the speech, but the consistency of speaking with conviction. One declaration alone is a spark. Repeated declarations become a flame that consumes every resistance. Consider how often battles in history were not won by force alone, but by the power of words spoken at the right moment. Generals destroyed armies with declarations before victory was ever seen. Prophets spoke deliverance before it was manifested. Christ's declarations shape reality because they pull the future into the present. They cause your spirit to align with what is coming rather than what currently is. Barriers exist to keep you tied to the now, but declarations remind you that there is more, and they force those barriers to yield to what has already been determined in the unseen. Faith-filled declarations are the proof that you believe beyond what you see. They are evidence of trust in promises greater than your environment. Each time you declare Christ, you are not only breaking the barrier before you, but you are also building the courage within you. And when courage and faith join together, there is no wall too high. Christ, no chain too heavy, no door too sealed that it cannot be opened. Alignment of heart, mind, and spirit true power in words does not come from the lips alone. It comes from the unity of the inner being, the heart, the mind, and the spirit moving in one direction. Many people speak words, but they are divided within themselves. The lips declare one thing, while the heart trembles in fear and the mind entertains doubt. This division weakens the force of the declaration. But when the heart believes, the mind agrees, and the spirit takes hold, the declaration becomes unshakable. Alignment within is what turns words into keys that open doors. The heart is the seat of emotion. It is where desire burns, where passion rises, and where conviction is felt. When the heart is not engaged, words are lifeless. A person may say, I will succeed, but if the heart feels defeated, the declaration has no fire. The mind is the seat of thought. It organizes reasons and weighs possibilities. When the mind does not agree with the words spoken, it sabotages the declaration with endless questions and logic that leans toward impossibility. The spirit is the seat of faith, Christ. It perceives beyond the visible and holds to truths that cannot yet be touched. If the spirit is dormant, the words lose their authority in the unseen realm. Only when all three, heart, mind, and spirit are aligned, does a declaration carry irresistible force. Think of alignment as three streams of water flowing together. Separately, each is weak and can be diverted. Christ. But when they merge, they become a river that cannot be stopped, carving valleys, moving rocks, and creating paths where none existed. A declaration spoken with only the heart may be passionate but inconsistent. Spoken with only the mind, it may sound intelligent, but it lacks power. Spoken with only the spirit, it may carry truth, but without the anchor of emotion and thought, it can feel disconnected. But when the heart feels it, the mind agrees with it, and the spirit breathes life into it, Christ, the declaration becomes like a mighty river flowing with unstoppable force against any barrier or locked door. Alignment also removes the contradictions within. Because many live with inner division. Their heart longs for freedom, but their mind replays failures. Their spirit whispers possibility, but their emotions scream limitation. These contradictions cause doors to remain closed, not because the doors are too strong, but because the person at the door is too divided. Christ, every time a declaration is spoken from a divided place, it weakens the resolve rather than strengthens it. But when repetition brings the heart to believe, the mind to agree, and the spirit to rise, the contradictions dissolve and the declaration becomes whole. Consider how powerful it is when a person reaches this unity. The heart says, it is possible. The mind responds, it is logical. The spirit declares, it is done. When such an agreement exists, the words spoken are not hesitant, they carry authority. Doors cannot resist such authority. Opportunities cannot remain closed before such conviction. Situations cannot argue with words that carry the full weight of a unified being. This alignment is not automatic. It requires discipline. The heart must be trained not to sink into despair. The mind must be renewed so that it does not conform to fear. The spirit must be fed with truth so that it remains strong in faith. This is why repetition matters. When you say something 3 times, you are training your inner being into agreement. The first declaration may stir the heart. The second may convince the mind. The third may ignite the spirit. By the time you have spoken it 3 times, your whole being stands in unity, and that unity releases power. Imagine standing before a locked door. If you approach with only emotion, you may pound on the door in frustration, but nothing moves. If you approach with only logic, You may analyze the lock but never open it. If you approach with only spirit, you may sense the key but not act. But when the heart, mind, and spirit unite, you no longer pound aimlessly or overthink or hesitate. You speak with authority, insert the key, and the door responds. This is the mystery of alignment. It transforms a weak attempt into an undeniable command. In the unseen realm, alignment is recognized. Just as an army moves with greater strength when every soldier marches in step, a person whose heart, mind, and spirit are aligned moves with authority that even invisible forces cannot resist. This is why declarations born from unity carry more power than prayers born from desperation. Desperation cries for help. Alignment commands the door to open. Desperation begs. Alignment declares. The difference lies not in the words alone, but in the harmony of the being that speaks them. Alignment also produces peace. When you know that your heart, your mind, and your spirit are in agreement, there is no wavering, no second guessing, no anxiety about whether the door will open. There is calm assurance. And that assurance itself is a force that accelerates the manifestation of what has been declared. Doors respond to certainty. They resist hesitation, Christ. But when your words are carried by the unity of your inner being, they echo with certainty, and certainty commands results, Christ. The secret of divine timing and open doors: not every door opens when you knock. Some doors are meant to remain closed until the appointed time. Not because you are unworthy or because your faith is too small, but because timing carries as much power as declaration. Christ. There are moments when you declare a thing and it seems as though nothing moves. You repeat the words 3 times and still the door does not swing wide. Yet in the unseen realm, something is shifting. The hinges are loosening, the lock is weakening, and the alignment is being set for the exact moment when the opening will bring the greatest blessing. To understand open doors, one must also understand divine timing. Divine timing is not delay, it is preparation. A farmer does not plant a seed in the morning and expect a harvest by nightfall. The soil must nurture the seed, the rain must fall. The sun must rise again and again before the seed breaks through the ground. When you speak words of faith, you are planting seeds into the spiritual soil. You may not see immediate fruit, but the process has begun. The secret is that while you are waiting, unseen hands are arranging the circumstances, aligning the opportunities, Christ, and moving people into position so that when the door does open, everything behind it is ready for you to step into. If a door opens too soon, it can crush you instead of bless you. Christ, opportunities carry weight. Some blessings require maturity to hold them. A child cannot drive a car, not because the car is bad, but because the timing is not yet right. In the same way, some doors remain closed until you are ready to carry what is behind them. Faith-filled declarations accelerate the process of preparation, Christ. But timing ensures that when the door swings open, you are strong enough to walk through it without stumbling. The mystery of saying words 3 times is not only about power. It is also about timing. Each repetition marks a rhythm, a cadence that aligns you with divine order. You are not only declaring what must happen, Christ, you are aligning yourself with when it must happen. Timing is the harmony between your preparation and God's orchestration. If you rush ahead, you may find the door still locked. If you lag, you may miss the moment when the door stood wide open. But when your declarations are made with faith, patience, and alignment, Christ, you arrive at the door in the very moment it is designed to yield. There is also wisdom in recognizing that not every door is meant to open. Some doors lead to distraction, others to destruction. If every door in front of you opened simply because you desired it, you would enter paths that could derail your destiny. Divine timing ensures that only the right doors open at the right time for the right purpose. This is why repetition and faith must always be joined with discernment. As you declare, Christ, this door must open, you also trust that the unseen hand knows which doors are yours and which are not. Faith commands, but trust surrenders to timing. Consider the story of Joseph. He had a dream of greatness, a vision of doors opening into influence and authority. Yet, before the door of leadership swung wide, he faced the closed doors of betrayal, slavery, and prison. Each closed door seemed like a denial. Yet each was part of the divine timing preparing him for the moment when Pharaoh's palace door would open. If Joseph had walked into that palace too soon, he would not have had the wisdom to govern. The doors opened not when he wished, but when he was ready, and when the timing served a larger purpose. Divine timing is not always visible, but it is always perfect. You may declare something 3 times and feel that nothing happened, but every repetition echoes in eternity. Every declaration plants a seed in the soil of time. And time is not working against you, it is working for you. What looks like waiting is in fact aligning. People are being moved. Circumstances are being shifted, resources are being gathered, and strength is being built within you. When the appointed moment comes, the door that resisted you will open effortlessly. Christ, as though it had never been locked. There is also a profound rest that comes with understanding timing. You no longer live in anxiety, wondering if your words have failed. You know that words spoken in faith cannot fail. They are eternal. The timing may not match your urgency, but it always matches your destiny. With this assurance, you continue to declare 3 times, not with frustration, but with confidence that each word is synchronizing your life with the perfect rhythm of heaven. The secret of divine timing and open doors is that you do not control the when, but you do control the what, but you do control the what. You control the words you speak, the faith you release, and the alignment you cultivate. And when you have done your part, the timing does its part. The key in your hand is real, Christ. But the moment the lock turns is guided by a wisdom greater than your own. This partnership between declaration and timing is what makes the opening of doors not only powerful, but unstoppable. Every closed door is not the end of your journey. It is an invitation to rise in faith, to speak with authority, and to align yourself with the rhythm of divine timing. The secret is not in striving harder, but in declaring with conviction. When you speak words of life 3 times, you are not simply repeating sounds, you are planting seeds, striking down barriers, turning keys in unseen locks, and synchronizing your heart, mind, and spirit with the timing that governs breakthroughs. Doors do not respond to fear, nor do they move from hesitation. They open to faith that is spoken aloud, faith that is repeated until every shadow of doubt is silenced, faith that is united within you and rooted in trust beyond you. Every declaration is a key, and every repetition is a strike that weakens what resists you. And when the moment arrives, when preparation and timing meet, the door will not creak open reluctantly. It will swing wide because it was destined to yield to your voice. So stand before the doors of your life with assurance. Speak with the authority already given to you. Align your heart, mind, and spirit in unity. Christ. Trust the timing that shapes all things. And know this, the words you declare in faith are never wasted. They are the very force that ushers you into new beginnings. It's Christ, into answered prayers, and into the open doors prepared for your destiny.